He's in the other one. He's in the other one. He's in the dark world.
The world once seemed so simple. Black and white. Darkness and light. Narrow dividing lines of our own making. Dillion taught her to see further. To peek through the cracks and see the worlds of color stretching away from the gloom. And Senna explored new paths into the unknown.
Dillion's
You can't go up there.
You can't go up there.
Not in this.
Not in this. You can't. Remember the smell of his neck. He's the reason she's alive at all. Cannot be undone. You have blood on your hands. You are guilty. Was it worth it? Do you know? Was it worth it?
You're still alive and Dillion's dead. He doesn't deserve to be dead.
How does that make you feel? He's the reason she's alive at all. The smell of his neck. Do you think
The Northmen tell this story about the death of Baldur. It begins with dark dreams. Night after night, Baldur dreams of his own death, and the gods fear for his life. So Baldur's mother makes everything in the world, fire, water, iron, stone, earth, wood, beasts, birds, serpents, poison, sickness, swear an oath not to harm her son. One by one, they each make their vow. Neither weapons nor wood will injure him, Baldur's mother boasts. Only Loki, father of Hela, the mistress of death, is not amused.
Dillion cared for her like no one else has.
Dillion's the only reason she's still alive. Remember him whispering in your ear? He's the reason she keeps fighting.
You've got it.
Why isn't he here?
He's gone. Do you remember?
In a dark world.
The way he's gone to the dark world.
You're in the wrong world.
He's in the other world. The dark she was out you.
Nobody will love her. Where are you taking me?
He's up there. How do we get up there? There's a way.
She is pure.
There is a way
dark.
up there.
Find the way.
She can do it. You're nearly there. She'll find the way.
The gods feast and rejoice and amuse themselves by throwing spears and stones at Balder, striking at him with sword and axe. But he comes to no harm, whatever they do. The gods never cease to wonder at this great marvel. But Loki shapes himself into a woman and asks Balder's mother, "Is it really true that all things promise to keep him safe?" "I did not ask the mistletoe," Balder's mother confesses. "I thought it was too young." Oh dear.
Dillion doesn't know who killed him, but we do.
Years had passed since she left her father. She trained hard alongside her friend, Dillion. She saw things no one else could. Patterns, shapes, movement. An intuition that made her an exceptional warrior. Friendship turned to love. But the shadow of darkness never let her go, and she was caught between two worlds. That of Zinbel and her past, and Dillion, her future.
Everything has broken in the end.
Two realities
And with your love,
tearing at her soul.
in you.
Loki makes a dart out of mistletoe and goes to the gods as they throw things at Balder. The blind god, Huth, was there. Loki asks him why he wasn't taking pollen. Huth says, "I cannot see where Balder stands, and even if I could see him, I have no weapon." Loki replies, "Here is a wand. I will tell you where he stands." And Huth throws the mistletoe at Balder. It pierces through him, and to everyone's horror, Balder is killed. And for this, Huth is slain.
You broke him. You killed him.
He couldn't see the darkness within you.
Northmen tell how the gods mourned Balder. His body was to be burnt on his ship, but they could not manage to push it into the sea, and sent for a giantess to do it. She comes riding a wolf and has vipers for her reins. She pushes Balder's ship into the sea with such force that the ground shakes and the rollers burst into flames. When Balder's wife sees his body carried onto the ship, her heart bursts with grief, and she dies. She's put next to her husband, and the pyre is lit, sending the dead to hell. But even so, the gods cannot accept his death. The Northmen tell how the gods mourned Balder. His body was to be burnt on his ship, but they could not manage to push it into the sea, and sent for a giantess to do it. She comes riding a wolf and has vipers for her reins. She pushes Balder's ship into the sea with such force that the ground shakes and the rollers burst into flames. When Balder's wife sees his body carried onto the ship, her heart bursts with grief, and she dies. She's put next to her husband, and the pyre is lit, sending the dead to hell. But even so, the gods cannot accept his death.
What if they're all about wasting your time just delaying? Do you remember meeting him beneath the tree? What does she think she's doing? You're not special. She thinks she can rule.
They mean nothing.
Being special. Waste of time. Could all be a waste of her time.
The gods are just the only reason she's still alive. What if the gods are laughing at her?
Messing with her.
What if this is pointless?
What are you doing? Why did you think you could make this work?
You keep seeing runes. You see runes everywhere.
Everywhere. But what if they're not real? What if they don't actually make sense?
The gods were lying. If you think it makes sense, but really the gods are playing with you.
It makes sense in your mind, but it doesn't make sense.
Words look at the gods, but it doesn't mean anything.
You don't understand sense, right? You're wasting time.
You're cursed. You'll succeed. Oh no! Quicker! DEMION!
Be quick.
DEMION never much cared for the underworld. Looked dimly upon the druids, like her father, Zenbel. I guess he took after his father, a chieftain who believed nothing he couldn't see, and he happened to be blind. She felt safe in Dillion's arms, learned to see the world through his eyes. And slowly, the darkness that had bound her so tightly began to unravel. You're going to fall, careful.
No, she's not. She's not going to fall. She's strong. She's steady. She can do it. You can do it, Senua. Be very, very careful.
You've come this far, don't let him slip away.
It's a narrow, narrow bridge. And there's a long way to fall.
It's not safe. You're going to fall. You're going to fall, careful.
No, she's not. She's not going to fall. She's strong. She's steady. She can do it. You can do it, Senua.
Senua, your father cannot understand your darkness. He cannot see through your eyes. No one can. My own father was born blind. Doesn't have the faintest idea of what the night looks like. The word dark to him means as little as the word light. someone is afraid of the dark, should we fix them by taking away their sight? Would you give up the beautiful world that you, and only you, can see just to be rid of your nightmares? Or is this the price you paid for the gift you have? A gift that makes you so special in my eyes. Just another part of the person I love.
I left for the wilds to protect you from my darkness. Because I love you. But it made it worse. I'm so sorry.
You've done it. You did it. The warrior trials. You need that sword. Go get the sword. You did it for the sword. You have to get the sword.
With grammar reforged, you will have Odin's blessing to walk, a goddess, into the halls of Helheim and challenge Hela as an equal.
So Dillion was helping me. And the sword will lead me to him. Like when we first met.
Dillion gave her the strength to pass the warrior trials, and she saw a way out. To leave her past behind and become a warrior in Dillion's clan.
Go back. It's not safe.
The sword is tainted by the gods of darkness. Leave it.
No. He left it here. He wants me to take it.
You will pay a price for this.
But years later, with Zinbal's parting words still haunting her, the darkness came back with a vengeance. A plague.
Dillion?
Everyone suffered.
My father was not supposed to die like this.
Dillion?
Do you see it clearly now, Senua? The suffering you've caused.
This is your fault. You brought this plague to us! You have blood on your hands!
They're coming for you now.
They're coming.
They're coming to get you.
Hold your heavy strike. Hold it. Hold the heavy strike. Hold your heavy. Unleash the sword. She's going to die.
No, she isn't.
She needs to focus in battle.